Have you ever gotten lost in a symmetrical building while playing a game? Getting players to explore every floor of a large enclosed symmetrical structure without making it feel too confusing is actually quite difficult, as the game's third fully enclosed multi-level area. The Opera House is brilliantly designed. Let's take a look. Right from the entrance, you're greeted by a magnificent hall built around perfect symmetry. The warm orange lighting, red curtains, and hymn-like background music create a sacred and dignified atmosphere. It makes you wonder just how dangerous the Puppet King's domain must be now, that the puppets have completely lost control. At this point, a puppet comes down the staircase on the left, subtly guiding the player in that direction. Puppet dolls are the most basic enemies here, posing little threat and mainly serving as guidance. A blue pickup item directly ahead highlights the existence of the shortcut door. The staircases are designed with open gaps, allowing players to spot bloodstains below without seeing any enemies. Returning to the left path introduces an upgraded version of the puppet doll. It has twice the health, inflicts disruption, and can perform a 4-hit combo. Fighting two of them at once can easily get low health players killed. After the fight, following the sound leads you to a new enemy, the Spider Lady. At first, I thought she would be a range support enemy interfering while players fought the two upgraded puppets. Instead, she is simply a buffing enemy with simple attacks, slightly higher health, and very little threat. The third floor on the left contains only this enemy, and the path ahead is blocked by crates. This is one of the level's primary methods of restricting progress and forcing exploration, and we'll see it again later. Back on the second floor, the main route leads into a long corridor patrolled by a Spider Lady. This is a classic ambush encounter. Once the Spider Lady is aggroed, 3 upgraded puppets drop in. Aggressive players may decide to rush the Spider Lady immediately to end the fight quickly, but after spending stamina sprinting forward, they'll quickly find themselves surrounded. Even if the enemies don't kill you, the disruption debuff probably will. Don't ask me how I know. 1 Spider Lady and 3 upgraded puppets make for a very challenging encounter. Even with a greatsword, it takes around 20 hits to clear. However, the long corridor provides plenty of room to maneuver, lowering the overall difficulty. If 2 puppets had dropped behind the player to create a pincer attack, the encounter would have felt much more threatening. After clearing the fight, head to the end of the corridor and descend to the basement level. Right after coming down, you're greeted by a pitch black hallway with a yellow light guiding the way at the far end. Inside is a valuable treasure chest, while a new area is teased above with flashing red lights illuminating a dark doorway. Once again, the level uses a semi-blocked path to stop player progression while still providing information. Turn back and continue deeper into the level. You soon encounter the Elite Muscle Puppet. It is highly aggressive and leaves very limited attack windows. Maybe it was because this was my 3rd playthrough and I was using a greatsword, but I staggered it after 2 hits and simply brute forced the fight. Defeating the elite enemy rewards you with a treasure chest containing a new weapon. Returning to the main path brings us to the previously empty corridor. The golden statues here help enrich the Opera House's story and world building. At the end is the second shortcut door, though it is mainly designed to make repeated attempts against the second elite enemy more convenient. At this point, you can actually go fight the boss. However, the dark doorway discovered earlier and the shortcut door we just passed both suggest there are still areas left to explore. Returning to the hall allows us to investigate the right side path. We skipped at the beginning. On the right side, there is only 1 upgraded puppet and 1 Spider Lady, making this section relatively easy. Unlike the left side, the corridor here is blocked by crates. You can see a Spider Lady patrolling beyond them, hinting that you'll need to reach the area from another route. After reaching the second floor and defeating the Spider Lady, you can access the backstage area that was previously blocked off. Here, you'll find a valuable treasure chest and the singer's side quest, rewarding you with a record. I have to say, the music in Lies of P is fantastic, and this record is definitely worth collecting. At this point, the only unexplored path left is the dark doorway illuminated by red light. Dropping down from the steel beams reveals a Trinity quest hidden in the darkness. Following the doorway leads to the underground corridor on the right side, where you can unlock a shortcut back to the hole. But honestly, this shortcut isn't very useful, because if you die in this area, you can simply drop down from the boss entrance above. This shortcut barely saves any time. The small room contains 2 upgraded puppets and a basic servant enemy, creating a medium difficulty encounter mainly used to fill out the level. Reaching the first floor corridor on the right immediately leads to an elite enemy. The narrow space makes failure much more likely. If you fail here, you can simply return through the shortcut from the hall and challenge it again. Compared to the left corridor, this one trades a puppet for an elite enemy. Since the spider lady had wandered away when I arrived, the puppet never received its buff, making the fight much easier. These familiar crates finally pay off the earlier setup, involving the patrolling spider lady. Unlike the left corridor, this hallway continues beyond the end. Story items, treasure chests, and the dimensional butterfly reward players who take the time to explore carefully. Near the dimensional butterfly, the level creates a narrow alleyway fight against 2 riflemen. To be honest, the pressure here is pretty intense. Opening the final shortcut door brings you right back to the Stargazer for supplies. Now, you can fight the boss without worrying about unfinished exploration. As a major story boss, this fight provides plenty of hints about the ending. The encounter features 2 phases, with the first phase actually offering more variety than the second. The second phase focuses on relentless aggression. Fast attacks, delayed attacks, and spinning swings place much greater pressure on players trying to read his moves. We'll dedicate a future video to analyzing the AI design of each boss. The entire opera house consists of 4 levels, 1 basement floor and 3 floors above ground. The top floor exists mainly for side content and spider ladies and is not part of the main route. The pacing follows a clear left first, right second structure. On the left side, players move from the second floor down to the basement before returning to the first floor to unlock the shortcut. On the right side, players start from the basement, climb to the second floor, and eventually exit near the Stargazer outside the opera house, completing the loop. The overall structure is very clear. I never felt like I was backtracking unnecessarily, which is impressive. The atmosphere is certainly oppressive, but the real issue is the lack of enemy variety. The entire level features only 3 enemy types: puppet dolls, spider ladies, and muscle puppets, which makes the gameplay feel repetitive. This final corridor could have benefited from another ambush encounter, or perhaps placing 2 muscle puppets here, and having them surround the player once they reach the middle of the corridor. Heh, that feels exactly like something Dark Souls would do. Alright, next up is the area I both love and hate, Lorenzini Arcade. It is another symmetrical multi-level, and I'll see you in the next episode.